I love this concept that the fruit of operationalizing your business is scalability, right? And the fruit of scalability is growth, right? So when you professionalize your business, what you've created is durability, and the fruit of durability is optionality or freedom, right? So you have the freedom to choose how you spend your time.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
The question we have for you today is, who do you work for? And who works for you? The question that comes up often, Dr. Stephen, in our CEO journey with our remarkable CEOs as we go through the journey of the identity shift in the CEO transformation system, turning our jobs into businesses, going from laborers to leaders, and truly going through this journey of taking our jobs and turning it into a business. And businesses have a few things in common. They're scalable, they're durable, and they're transferable. We use words like this, but to us in our program, Dr. Stephen, they mean something. And today we want to talk about, in our podcast episode, really a conversation that we've been having for years, but something that's just continued to become even more clear as the highest priority for a remarkable CEO. And that is the professionalization of your team.
That's right.
Dr. Stephen, this is in many ways, part two in a conversation that we had in regards to the 3 steps that you have to turn your job into a business, to grow to the next level. You have to operationalize. You have to operationalize in order to do step 2, which is to professionalize. And we're having that conversation here today. And when you do that and you do step 2 and you professionalize, it gives you the option to do step 3, which is to optimize. And at each break point in your business, you're going to be confronted with this, again, this process of operationalize, professionalize to optimize. And Dr. Stephen, today we want to dig into the subject matter of operationalizing in order to professionalize, and picking up with professionalizing today. And my question is, do you work for your team, or does your team work for you? Who do you work for? And when I ask this question to many of our CEOs, Dr. Stephen, I get that look that, you know what? My mindset has been, these people work for me. And we're going to encourage you to consider shifting your mindset. And the new mindset is, I actually work for them. My job is to actually help showcase your genius, to help you rise and shine, and to expose that genius so that as a result of that, I build you up, you build the business. And as our business grows, as we grow our team, we grow our business. And Dr. Stephen, the only way to do that is to professionalize your team.
So the stepwise process of operationalize, professionalize, and optimize, I think, is really helpful. Yeah. Because, being a CEO, this is uncharted territory for a lot of people, right? So it's like, oh man, I got really good at being an owner operator, right? So you might say to yourself right now, what do you mean I used to be? I'm like right now an awesome owner operator. Or maybe you're like, I'm struggling even as an owner operator. It's like, all y'all are in the right place. Right. This conversation is for you, right? So this is new territory. It's different territory at the very least, right? So, and most of us have enjoyed some success, some of us great success in the seasons of being the owner operator. We built so many skills because we've got so many laps around the track, right? The synaptogenesis. I mean, you could just do it in your sleep, like close your eyes, and it's like the grooves in that dirt road are deep, right? And those tires lock in there, right? So, and when you're trying to make that shift and make the ascension from that owner operator identity to the CEO identity, there is that gravitational pull that wants to pull you back, where it's like, oh, you know what? The heck with it. Just give it back to me. I'll do it. Step out of the way. I'll do it better than you do, right? So it's like, just let me do it. That's the white knighting that will keep you at the level you're at right now. It's exactly the level. It's exactly what brought you to the level of success you have now. And it'll be exactly the thing that keeps you where you're stuck right now, unless you're committed to getting to the next level, right? So to be able to get that next level, to go from owner operator to CEO, you've got to embrace this concept of operationalize, then professionalize, then optimize, right? So this is the recipe, Dr. Pete. I'm excited that we're breaking apart each one of those. We just did an episode on operationalizing, which is where we talked about systems, right? Creating the infrastructure of systems, systematizing every part of the practice: attraction, conversion, retention, team building, and collections. Everything needs to be systematized. So you have these predictable positive outcomes, and you can actually delegate these things, right? So if it's not systematized, you can't delegate it, right? So, and part of those systems are having reporting systems and meeting rhythms so that you can have visibility and accountability, right? So sound familiar, gang? This is the language of the remarkable CEO, right? So that's the ascension from owner operator to CEO. Now, to professionalize your business is, man, this is the next level, right? To be able to build a team of A players that are professionals around you. My goodness, this is a never-ending cycle. This is a never-ending challenge, and this will truly take your business to the next level. So I love this concept that the fruit of operationalizing your business is scalability, right? And the fruit of scalability is growth, right? So when you professionalize your business, what you've created is durability, and the fruit of durability is optionality or freedom, right? So you have the freedom to choose how you spend your time. And then to optimize the business, what you're doing is you're creating a greater effectiveness and productivity. And the fruit of optimizing the business is profitability. So I'm sharing that with you guys because I want you to know this is wicked hard and it's worth it, right? So if you listen to those things, oh my gosh, growth, freedom, profit, those things, that's what we're all trying to accomplish. That's what we're all trying to achieve. So Dr. Pete, we're going to talk about professionalizing your business today. It is, they say 95% of your problems are people problems. Man, this is the toughest part of it. And, but at the end of the day, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze.
One of the things that inspired me this year, especially going into our team building immersion, was the concept of the difference between being an amateur and being a pro. And, I was inspired by reading a book about turning pro. And while there was definitely this, idea of a sports being the focus, it actually wasn't referring to sports. It was actually referring to people becoming professionals. And it applies to your life, whether you're a father, a mother, and the idea of, okay, what does it mean for me to go from functioning as an amateur level mom or dad to a professional level dad? And I applied the learning from that to my own life. And I looked at my life through the lens of, what does it mean for me to be a professional, father, husband? What does it mean to be a professional doctor, coach, CEO? What does it mean for me to show up as a professional in all the areas of my life? And versus how an amateur shows up, whether it's managing your finances, managing your relationships, there's an amateur level of how we live our life, and there's a professional level. And Dr. Stephen, you said, when we're launching our business and we're functioning as owner operators, man, that's a beautiful season of your story. And you have to actually start there. And there's things that you can't hack. You can't skip steps. You get to go through that step, and then you have to go through that step of being an owner operator. It's part of it. And, and the beautiful thing is you're going to learn things during that season you're going to have for the rest of your life. And all you can do is tell stories to people about it. But unless they go through it, they're just going to be stories to them. And those are the experiences that, man, what are they worth, right? They're priceless. But what you're saying, Dr. Stephen, is we can't be lulled to sleep by that. It's easy to get caught up in that and just, and be stuck. You can get stuck in that season, that stage. And when we look at it through the lens of, amateur to professionalize, you look at it through the lens of your team, oftentimes who it is that we've been able to attract and bring with us on our team has been able to get us to a certain level of growth. And that's great. But if you're going to grow to the next level, we're going to need to have a different level of team. And so it may be the people that you are working with that are going to help you and be with you in that next iteration of the journey. There's really good chances that they might not be. And we have to be okay with that, because as they move on, they're going to move on to better things, and you will be able to move forward and on to better things, and everybody wins, right? So we have to have this mindset that, how I got to this level of success and who I was to get to here, that person is going to need to grow to the next level. And that's the leadership question we always ask, Dr. Stephen, which is, who do I need to become? And you as a leader, me as a leader, us, we ask ourselves the question, who do I need to become? Because who I'm becoming is going to determine where I'm going next. And ultimately, and unless I'm becoming, I'm going to stay. I'm not going to become. I'm going to stay. I'm going to remain right here where I'm at, which might be called stuck. And I don't get the growth, not growing, not experiencing greater measures of freedom, not experiencing the fruits of greater profitability. And that's frustrating. And that's when a lot of us, we come to the end of ourselves. We either want to bail out, we want to check out, we want to bow out, whatever. We just want out.
Yep.
And we're hoping somebody might come rescue us or something that we could just do to, it's like, whoa, time out. No, we need to ask ourselves this question. Who do I need to become? Starting with you. Professionalize, Dr. Stevens, basically what I'm boiling this down to is it starts with you and I. Like, what does it look like for me to be a professional so that I can attract a team of professionals who are actually going to be stronger where I'm weak? I'm going to be able to surround myself with this level of player. And ultimately that's what the future holds for you and for me, for all of us.
Man, you're spot on with this. And putting words to this, I think there are people listening to this who really need to hear this right now, right? So this is like, the reality is that I know my own journey was initially I was just hiring people to support me, right? So it's like, I needed workers around me. It's like, here, you guys support me while I do the things that makes the stuff, right? So it's like just surround me. And I needed worker bees, right? And I just quickly realized that wasn't going to get me to the next level for sure, right? So, and when we talk about next level, guys, there's lots of ways to think about levels. I love to think of them in terms of the law of ones and threes, right? So there's a business dynamic where they say the business that you have now, the systems that you have now, the people that you have now won't necessarily be the business, the people, the team that you have when you go to the next level, right? And sometimes it's just people moving around. Some people move over, they move up, they move out, right? Some of the people move in, right? So now that you're just cleaning house, guys, please don't hear that, right? It's like you're great leaders create other leaders, right? So you got to bring people up, right? So there's going to be an ascension for you as a leader where you're like, man, I just used to think, man, I'll build the business. I'll focus on the patients. I'll focus on the customers. And then I had to grow up as a leader and recognize, no. Actually, I need to focus on the team, and the team can focus on the patients and the customers, right? So, instead of me trying to build the business, let me build the team, and the team will build the business, right? So when you get this right, what you recognize is that there are next levels, right? So, and the law of ones and threes says that the team you have now, the business you have now, the systems you have now won't look the same to get you to the next level, right? So ones and threes, you can think of it in volume, like the team you have, the business you have, the system you have to 100 a week of adjustment volume won't be the same that'll get you to 300 a week, or 300 a week to 1,000 a week, 1,000 a week to 3,000 a week, right? So, or maybe it's $100,000. When you're making $100,000 a year, that you need a new set of systems and teams. The business that you have at 100,000 won't be the business or the team to get you to 300,000. The team, the systems that you have at 300,000 won't be the team to get you to 1 million. The million team won't get you to 3 million. The 3 million won't get you to 10 million, right? So it's like, these are the rules in business. There'll be these iterative processes, and that's great. It's not okay. It's great, right? And you want to look at it and be like, listen, people are with you for a reason and for a season, right? So, and for me, I had to overcome that as a leader. I was so frustrated if people would be churning through, right? So I love that expression. Man, I'm afraid to train my people because what if they leave me? It's like, well, what if you don't train your people and they stay, right? That's the nightmare, right? So people are with you for a reason and for a season. And in my experience, Dr. Pete, in the chiropractic office, they were either with me for 2 years or 22 years, right? It's like 2 years or 22 years. And what I recognize, and I really don't want to just paint with such a broad brush here, but I do want to be transparent here when I say this. Like, my experience was my check-in CA, my checkout CA, my tech CA, they might turn over, right? Because the quality of the person that I was looking for, somebody who was going to be at a level of they had graduated college, they were ambitious, they were driven, and they were inspired, right? They were positive, they were smart, hungry, humble, right? So those people, 2-3 years, and they were just like, Doc, you've inspired me. I'm going to go do blank. And that's great. Hopefully they were going back to chiropractic college, right? So, but they were on to live on the next iteration of their life, their next vision. Otherwise, I collected people for 22 years, right? So 2 years at 22 years, they're both great. People are with you for a reason and for a season. And then I brought all that experience into running the Remarkable Practice and building the Remarkable Practice. Dr. Pete, you can remember there was a season when we'd show up and there'd be 150, 200 people at an immersion, for example, a live event. And we had an awesome A player who shares our core values, buys into our vision story, just awesome, running the live events. And after 200, 300, when the people start 300, 400 people in the room, that system started to break down. And it was just literally that person was like, listen, I'd rather be in the front of the room loving on the people versus in the back of the room trying to run this show from the shadows. And what we had to do is recognize it was time to professionalize that role. It was trying to bring somebody in whose genius was the super high detail, the systems structure. Please don't put me in the front of the room. Let me hide backstage and orchestrate this whole thing. I am the right person to take this from 300 to 3,000 people in this room and beyond, right? So Dr. Pete, we got to remember they're with us for a reason and for a season. And that's all part of this professionalizing your business in order to get you to the next level.
I think I want to emphasize something you said, because I think I said it quickly and we can say these things, but it's really worth repeating, which is that when you say the next iteration, 100 to 300, 300 to a million, million to 3 million, 3 million to 10, and you say, people are with you for a reason, for a season, I really want to focus on the people move in, they move over, they move up, they move out, but the in, over, and up, like all that is possible for you, right? Sometimes it's just move over. It's like me with the big family. You pop more kids. The guy's like, "Hey, move over, slide down." Right? Another butt, gotta get on this seat. And I love our iteration when we talk about the COO ascension. A lot of people, when they see that sheet, they see same person here goes up here, and then these are all empty seats necessarily. It's like no. Like there's going to be another person in this seat, this seat, this seat, and this seat. All 4 seats will be occupied by somebody. At one point, quote unquote, was one person doing all of that work. Yeah, that you got away with that from 100,000 to 300,000. You might have got away with 2 people from 300,000 to a million. You're not going to get away with that from 1 million to 3 million. You're going to have a seat occupied on that infographic that we shared, that many of you who have listened to us. So just think about it in terms of that, where it's 2 years, 22 years, that whole concept. But I want to give people an opportunity to have a career with us and recognize that the only way they're going to even see that that's possible with you is if they see the vision of what's possible and what we're creating, which goes back to your primary objective as a CEO, casting vision. It's not just for your patients and your community. It's for the very team with which you are serving with, who's coming alongside of you that says, hey, I want to, as we grow, I would like to move into this more niche specialty because I think this is my genius, like perfect. And then we're going to bring in another person, but they're going to be a professional who's done this at a higher level, and they're going to actually help us pull the noodle. They're going to help elevate us to a higher level of operation and a higher level of performance so we can actually grow into it. So I just want to emphasize, as you guys are listening to this, please don't, because what's going to happen is you could attract a churning business model, and we don't want that for you. No. We want you to attract people that can stay with you and do their career with you. So they come in, they might move over and they might move up, but man, they could do a whole season of their career as a professional with you. And I think that's the key. If we can have that mindset, that's going to actually challenge you as a leader to continue to grow yourself and to grow your team, knowing like, hey, I would love for this person to have a home here, make it this their career. I want this to be that for you.
That's
Dr.
right.
Stephen, we all have an opportunity to do that.
So the chart that you're referring to, the accountability chart, right? So we should give that away. Why don't we share that, right? So let's put a link down below. We have a whole packet that unpacks the accountability chart. Let's give that away, right? So if you guys are like, what are you guys talking about? The org chart, the accountability chart, we have a whole organizational chart, and it's a packet that actually unpacks all of the domains. So you've got a cover that has the high level leadership team and then the leadership team of the domains. Then each one of attraction, conversion, retention, team building, that's all broken down. We have that in a packet. Let's give that away because it has the job descriptions in there. And what I want you to do is I want you to start being able to exercise the muscle of vision casting, be able to say now next an ultimate vision of the team. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to professionalize this, there's really two ways we're going to do it. You're going to move people around, right? So, and that means having a runway for people to have their personal, professional, and financial goals met inside of your business, right? So here's the secret, guys. Ready? Write this down. Our job is to create environments where people know they're better off with you than without you. You've got to give people a runway, paint a 3-year picture. When people run out of vision, they run out of your business, right? So you have to be able to say, what's the 3-year view? Like, where are we going together? Right. So your vision's got to be big enough where everybody else can fit their vision up underneath it. Right. So that's moving people around. That's one part of this. The second part of this is when it comes to professionalizing your business, as opposed to grooming that person from somebody who you met, who had been trained up as a barista at Starbucks, who was awesome, and you saw all their potential and you spent 3, 4, 5 years developing them. That's awesome. That's one level of investment. Another level of investment is professionalizing the business in a way where you say, listen, I want to go from 1 million to 3 million. I haven't been to 3 million before. I'm going to bring somebody in who has been. Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring somebody in who's run a 3, 5, 7, $12 million organization. And that skill set for them, they have the synaptogenesis. They've been stretched, the plastic effect, the plasticity of operating at that level. They will pull the rest of your business that way. The best way to know what's coming down the road is to talk to somebody who's been down that road, right? So you bring that person in, and that's an investment where you're getting out ahead of yourself and you're saying, you're not over your skis. You're taking a 3-year view of the business saying, I am going to invest my money to bring in somebody else's time, energy, focus, and talent to pull the business forward, right? That's professionalizing it. Dr. John DiMartino taught us this law of if somebody can do something 80% as well as you can, delegate it. So you're freed up to focus on the things that you are uniquely gifted to do. Okay. So that is the owner operator level when you've operationalized and you're just putting employees in those places and you're saying, you know what, 80% is good enough. Let me delegate that. And that's an awesome stage. That's an awesome advancement for so many people who are inherently control freaks and you love to do everything yourself because you do everything the best. Well, again, that's going to put the lid on your business, right? So that first step for you, the first step in recovery of being a control freak is just delegating it to the people on your team, on your payroll. What we're describing here is the next level. The next level of professionalization is not just if somebody's 80% as good as you. I'm talking about somebody who's 100 to 120 and beyond. They're better than you at this. There are roles inside of your business that you can bring in a professional who's actually better than you. And when you make that investment, what you're doing is you're opening up this opportunity and it'll become an inflection point for your business. When you take a 3-year view of your business, you say, you know what, I'm using my money and I'm investing in the future of the business. Investing is a delayed return. I'm investing and expecting a return on this investment. And I'm going to use my money to buy somebody else's time, energy, focus, talent, and experience to pull the business forward. Guys, it's all about to create a remarkable practice and to create a remarkable business. It's a 3-step process. It's operationalize, then professionalize, then optimize.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner, dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy.
Hello, remarkable CEOs. This is Dr. Eric DiMartino here with another meetup with one of our awesome success partners. I'm excited to be in studio today with Justin Maxwell from Big Life Financial. Big Life Financial is one of our very valuable success partners, and we just love all our remarkable success partners because they really help us further our mission of helping our docs help more people. So welcome to the podcast, Justin.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Eric. I'm really excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome, man. So take a minute or so to introduce yourself and then help our audience know a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I'm Justin Maxwell. I'm a partner at Big Life Financial. I've been in the Big Life Financial world since 2019. And the goal for me, honestly, the reason I arrived at Big Life Financial is because I hit a ceiling of fulfillment. I was a school teacher prior to working and being a part of Big Life Financial's team. And I just felt like there was more that I could bring to the world and more that I could do. And teaching wasn't helping me fulfill that anymore. And I'm all about helping people create generational impact and giving them the permission to do that. And in order to do that, you have to have money to do that. You can do it at base levels and you can do it and be fulfilled, but to really leave generational impact, you have to have money. I like what Dr. Franson says when he says, no money, no mission. It's the same thing. No money, no impact, at least at a base level. The impact that you could leave is left far beneath it. And Big Life Financial has given me that permission, and we give our clients that same permission. And so that's why I do what we do, is to give people the permission to push bigger, leave bigger impact, and think bigger and live their biggest life. In all reality, that's why we're called Big Life Financial.
Love that. I didn't know that backstory to that, but that makes sense. Yeah, and some docs, they almost don't want to talk about the money. It's like it's about helping people, and that's
Yeah.
great. Like I don't, your primary focus should not be making money. Your primary focus should be helping people. But as a result of that, when you help a lot of people, you should automatically make a lot of money, right? We
Yeah.
should be rewarded for the amazing things and the value that we bring to our communities. And I think it's important as a great steward of our our businesses and our money, that we take good care of our money, that we don't waste it, right? And we think about having that generational impact that we can have to our loved ones and even to our community through during community different types of charity organizations and things that we can do, right? So that's really the stage in my life, is I'm trying to now amass as much wealth as I can so I can give it back. And I can give it
Yeah.
back to where I think it's going to have the most impact in our communities. And I love that you guys help our doctors do that. And so, in TRP, we always talk about how every business really exists to solve problems, right? That's what we do. And the bigger problems you can solve, the more money you're going to make as a result. So specifically, how do you guys solve problems for chiropractors?
Yeah, it's an extraordinary question, because chiropractors, I know that it feels at times, I know the thing about TRP that I love about TRP is that you're taking doctors who are clinicians and you're making them the business owners. And as they go through that process and then they become CEOs, as they're going through that process, that alone starts to make them more money. And most doctors don't realize this, and maybe they do, but I've noticed they don't. Most doctors are 10%, top 10% earners in America. And that, if you stretch it out to the world, you're a 1% earner in the entire world. But usually they're viewing that as like, well, Elon Musk or these billionaires, these ultra millionaires, those are the 1%, but you're right there behind them. But then when you look at doctors like investment portfolios or their wealth that they've amassed, it looks extremely middle class. So the problem that we solve is helping them figure out, why is it that I'm making a generational amount of income, but I'm having a middle class outcomes? So we look to where's all the money going? We're probably paying too much in taxes. We probably have a lot of efficiencies in the way that we're having cash flow into our personal life, and we're just bleeding and paying money and spending money on things we don't need, and we don't have great investment philosophies, or we don't have investment philosophies at all outside of our business, and our business isn't valuable at all. Like, it's not an asset; it's cash flowing to us, but it's not ever going to produce anything. So we're looking at all these different holes or gaps and helping doctors plug them, so that when cash flows in, it automatically starts to transform into wealth on its own. So we're helping doctors transition their generational income into generational wealth.
I love that. I love the distinction between the two. That's great, because I've worked with some docs out there that make a lot of money, but they don't save a lot of money, right? And they haven't gotten that balance down where they can really utilize services like you guys to create that generational wealth that we all want to be able to accomplish. So, when I'm always working with my CEO clients, we always talk about the concept of ROI, return on investment. Because a lot of docs will say, well, doc, how much should I spend on marketing, or how much should I spend on team? And I said, honestly, I don't care, as long as you're getting a positive ROI, right? People say, is like $5,000 a month for marketing, is that expensive? I say, yeah, it's expensive if you get no return for it. But if you're
Yeah.
getting $50,000 in return, I'd say it's pretty darn cheap, right?
Yeah.
So we always talk about ROI. And so what kind of ROI could a CEO expect to get from you guys, and from utilizing your services?
Yeah. We like to bring that quickly, because the thing about finance is it's a long game. So it's hard to, like, for example, if you go to an investment advisor, like, it takes it doesn't just happen in an instant. You give them their money and all of a sudden you're a millionaire. Like it's a slow, consistent savings build, investing over time. So it's hard for people to feel like they're getting an ROI. The ROI is there, it's just 30 years in the future. So what we have focused on with doctors is how can we find dollars immediately with you? Is what we've found is that most doctors unnecessarily pay taxes on an annual basis. And we can find those dollars and we can sometimes recoup them. Sometimes we can go back and the IRS will send you a check, which is extraordinary. But usually the ROI is that we can help you save taxes in the year. For example, we're in 2025 right now. We can put together a plan for you that will reduce your tax bill for 2025, and it will give you an ROI of something. So it depends on how much money someone makes, but these are generalities, so don't expect this, but these are just generalities. So for doctors that make 150,000 or less in personal income, we usually find that we can save them between $4,000 and $10,000 a year in taxes. If they make from 200 to 300,000, it's usually 10 to 20,000 in tax savings. If they're making $500,000 plus, it's usually 30 to 40, sometimes $60,000 in taxes. And then we have doctors that make $1 million a year and we've saved them $100,000+ in taxes. And that's an ROI that's tangible that we can give you. But the reason we know we can give it to you is because we're not just obsessed with helping you save taxes. We're obsessed with helping you save taxes to build wealth. So we're actually going to help you transition those tax dollars into assets, whether that's back into the business or into assets outside of the business. And that's tangible, and that's dollars that you can actually feel and touch within the year of working with us, where you can actually get an ROI that's tangible for you.
And that's great. And what's nice about that is, it sounds like what you're saying was about a 10% return is almost seems like based off their income, what they would get on savings. And, that's typically what, if you invest in the stock market, just like an index fund, you can usually expect around 10% on average. But I have to actually put the money in to get that 10%. Right here it is. I already earned the money. I don't have to put any money in. You just are going to find tax savings that I don't have to pay Uncle Sam. And that's immediate return without me having to invest any money that I've done before. So that's a huge win.
Yeah. There's a stat out there that says the dollar that's saved is about 7 times more valuable than the next dollar you have to earn because you've already earned it. So you just have to learn how to keep more of it because you don't have to work as hard. You already have it. You just have to learn to not let it disappear from you.
Yeah, super powerful. And that's great that you can bring that value. I don't think anybody loves paying taxes, but there's nothing worse than paying more taxes than you need to, right? So I'm glad you guys provide that strategy and for helping our docs save a lot of money. They can put back in their business, and obviously there's nothing better than reinvesting back in your business to keep growing your impact. So that's great. So as you look ahead and assess the needs for our profession in the future, how are you guys helping docs be prepared to succeed more in the future? Any
Yeah.
specific things that you guys do with docs to help them?
Yeah. So the thing that this is really important, I think, because you use systems to make your business functional. TRP is giving doctors systems to make their business more valuable, to make it so that they're seeing more people, helping more people. You do the same thing on the personal side of things. So we are going to help people implement financial operating systems into their personal life so that when cash flow flows in, the system is already in place. It will flow to spending, it will flow to savings, it'll flow to emergency, it'll flow to very safe things, it'll flow to investments, it will flow back to the business. But the financial operating system is what we help people implement so that the future is brighter, so that the permission is given. I like the term, to kind of play back on your last question with ROI. I like the term ROE, return on emotion. How much emotion is returned to you because you have stability now, that you know that money is flowing on its own and you have some safety, you have some growth. It gives you the permission to think differently, to think a little bit bigger, to think, well, if this is working now, what if I bought a new space or got to a second location or started saving more money into the system? Like, it just makes you start thinking differently when you have the emotional side covered. And a lot of doctors, just by the very nature of the way that they're functioning, don't have a lot of emotional protection, and they have to live in scarcity a little bit. So it's always like to the next dollar, to the next thing. They're not thinking visionary, they're thinking in the moment. And visionary thinking is what really allows people to have the impact.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. See, that's part of the ROI, or you call it ROE, is peace of mind, right? I hope every doc out there listening has a peace of mind account, right? It's that money that, 3 to 6 months of operating expenses that God forbid your office burns down, or God forbid you get in a horrible car accident, you can't work. It's like having that peace of mind account that you're not a month away from going bankrupt, right? And so many docs kind of live on the edge, and that's, like you said, that's their ROE, their return on emotion, of that peace of mind, so that not stressed about every week. Do we have enough new patients? Are we have our patient visits? Because I don't have much money in the bank. Like, that's no way to live. So I love that, we talk about systems. It's huge for us in TRP, but we always talk about around the patient journey and around our office. But you have systems for the financial side, right? It's not like just leave the money in the account. No, you're going to put money in your vacation fund or your savings fund or your retirement or all those different funds. And if it's automated, then they never even see the money, right? So they never had to make that conscious decision. So that's systematizing their financial life. And I love that. So many docs need that. So I appreciate you guys provide that for them.
Yeah, and it's the thing that I think people need to click is you can do it, you do it in the business, but you also do it on the personal. Because usually some people are really good on the personal, but then their business, like you said, they're always close to never making payroll. You need to do it on both. Like, you need to be viewing your business and personal financial as almost one thing. They're just two halves of the same ball.
Yep. And I love that you can help give them that clarity and those systems around that. That's great. So what's the next step for our listeners to connect with you guys and learn more about how you can help them?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way is we offer, I just barely created it's a very simple workbook. It's just 20 questions to ask your accountant. And they're questions that you can take to your accountant and ask them. And the way they answer them is going to help you determine whether there's someone that's saving you money or costing you money. And so I can give you that book. And then in conjunction of that book, if you want to sign up for a free complimentary tax review, we'd be happy to do that with you. And then you can determine, is my accountant already someone that I should have on my team, or is it time for me to level up to someone that's actually going to push me and give me the permission to leave a generational impact? And we're not the only great accounting firm in the country. There's other accountants that are great and they're really good at what they do, but a lot of doctors don't know if their person's good. They know that they're nice, they know that they've never been audited, and they usually file their taxes on time, or they wouldn't be with them, but they don't know if they're actually helping them reduce their tax bill. And this book will unveil that for them so they can start to determine, am I at the level of income that I need to start leveling up my team versus, or stay the same, or are they on pace with me? So I'll include that book and that link, and you can sign up, and then you'll have access to us and be able to determine whether we can help you or not, or whether you're in a good spot.
Perfect. And we'll include that link in the show notes. Do you have, is there a website that they can go to, or?
Yeah, our website's biglifefinancial.com. It will probably, by the time this airs, there's a new one being constructed right now, so it will be a lot more robust than it's ever been before. So that should have a lot more information there for people to go to, but that will be a great resource as well.
Perfect. And I want to double click on one thing you said. I hope our listeners got this, is that your accountant, their job is not to save you money on taxes. Their job is to keep you out of jail, to keep you out of IRS prison. So there's a lot of accounts out there that are very conservative, and they're not looking for ways to save you taxes. They're just making sure that your thing's itemized and that you're filing a tax return on time, and that the tax return is legal. That's it. They don't look for ways to strategize to help you reduce taxes legally. And I know that's something you guys specialize in. And so I want our listeners to know that, hey, just because you have an accountant doesn't mean that they're actually giving you all the tax savings that you need, because that's not their job. Their job is to keep you out of jail, and they do that very well. But we want to stay out of jail, and we want to obviously maximize our tax savings as much as possible. I know you guys specialize in that, so I appreciate that.
Our firm is built for business owners, so we know we're looking to help the business owner, specifically doctors in this situation, reduce your tax bill and do it legally and ethically, so that you get to stay out of jail and you save a whole bunch in taxes simultaneously.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Justin, for being on the podcast today. I appreciate you, all you do for our remarkable clients. A lot of the CEOs I know use you guys. You guys are awesome. And thank you so much for being a success partner as well. So, remarkable CEOs, remember tuning in every single week to the Remarkable CEO podcast. I hope all of you have a blessed week. We'll see you guys all next week. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic. And what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.